So I think everybody on the call, I'm sure, is familiar with the Victory system, but just I want to go through a couple of things with everybody. First of all, this strap being an accessory, the bungee strap that we've been showing people, it is also available to sell, and it's really has to do with carrying the machine as you're moving around. I'm going to take this off. A lot of people have difficulty putting this on and off. It's pretty simple. You press and just release. So here goes the strap. Always, when you're operating the machine, playing with the machine, remove the battery. Make it a health and safety piece. If you're going to be cleaning it, if you're going to be wiping it, if you're going to be changing the tank or really removing the nozzle, remove the battery. That battery is really there to generate energy, but when you're handling the machine, it's always nice not to have it in your hand. The other thing I want to show you is the grounding piece right there. Okay, metal piece. That's where your hand sits. That's the grounding piece to you, your body, and the ground, right? The on-off switch is your safety mechanism. I always like to point that out. So this, like any drill, guns, device that really people can press the trigger and hurt themselves or spray themselves, this is important, and it's locked when you're talking to people. Just bring it up. And the electrostatic device, the on and off, is right over here. But if you've got this on off, you're still going to be spraying water. So make sure you realize that this is your safety mechanism. The trigger. We want to remove our tank. We want to turn the dial. Right, on off. We're going to pull the trigger, and the tank releases. Another important, it's got to be pulled gently. And, I've seen some that people have pulled them out, about 5-6 units out of many thousand sold. So sometimes it has to do with the mechanism inside. So what we've done is replace the whole module, but there will be a service kit in the future for people that rip them out. And it's really simple. So I'm going to bring your attention to the straw, right? That's the straw where the chemicals coming in. There's a filter there. Important to notice that this always needs to be clean. It needs to be wiped. If you're in hard water, it may start getting some, residue built in the filter. No different than a proportioner, really. And the thing I want to mention, and this is troubleshooting 101. I'm going to try to show you. There is a little. Let me show you. There's a little plastic piece here, right? And then if you can press it, right? So I'm going to try to get closer to the camera. It's right there. And you can squeeze this. If this ever gets clogged or blocked, it will prevent the tank from breathing. So your tank will collapse. So you remove the tank, you just press that grommet, that plastic grommet inside. Not something that's happened, but I've seen 1 or 2 phone calls. This is a service part. Each machine comes with an extra straw and 2 gaskets. The gasket inside, right? That green piece inside will eventually soften up based on the chemical you're using. So it is designed, it's a chemical resistance, but a gasket is a gasket. It does have a life cycle. So if you go to remove this, remove it carefully. Make sure your battery is removed. Take a Q-tip and pull it out, and then take a Q-tip and replace it. I've had people say, use a pen, use any type of sharp object. Make sure your battery's not there, because I can tell you the electrostatic last piece out of this unit is really in here. So if by accident you press the button, you have got something metal in there, it's going to get a bit of static charge. No big deal, but you know what? I don't really want that in my life all the time. So the key is handling it properly. How to remove, use a Q-tip, or a wood, barbecue wood piece that you put your shish kebab on. Just use that to pull it out and then reinsert it. Let's be safe. Let's make sure we're doing the right thing. So we put this back together. So our straw, this is the mechanism. I'm going to put the tank back on. And also a 1 liter tank that also has a gasket. And the key is to make sure that your tank is always positioned properly. Insert it properly to get the best suction. And then you want to lock your system back. Like this, right? So easy. So easy. If this is not sealed properly, it could drip. You could lose suction. And if you have a service center in your organization, do not bring them a victory. These guys, they love these grease monkey that are in auto scrubbers and vacuums and motors. They love to take stuff apart. They're designed with these little screws that are specially starred. The auto industry uses those. Some people have those screwdrivers and they want to go and look inside. Those things have been sealed at the factory. And if the thing gets open, you may break the seal and lose some of the electrostatic that the machine is designed to give you in order to allow the chemistry to go on a 360 degree and even out the surface. It's very important. Notice also, I'm using, workplace label, because you could have a bottle. The other thing, when not used, you should remove it. We have a nice cap that goes on top of it. You can store them on your carts. You want your Vanguard, you want your triple action, you want your triple quadromycide, you want your BioVac, you want your organic for the shower, different spray bottles for different application. Always want to make sure you wipe again properly your device. This needs to click in. You heard the noise. So let's go back and go to the nozzle, right? We've had some issues, cracked nozzle. We've had more issues with people not positioning the nozzle inside the cavity, I'm going to call it, or gasket. But how did that fits in? Very easy. But every time I do it, sometimes I have challenge like everybody else. But you want to put it in, right? And you want quarter turn counterclockwise as you're pressing in, and then release. And then you want to make sure that it's sitting inside and not coming out. Shannon always says it's like having a kid losing his teeth, but I like it that way. And if you want to make sure it's properly functioning, I don't have a battery, so I'm still handling the device. You can hear it click, right? Can you hear those click as I'm adjusting it? 3 different positions, 40 micron, 80 micron, 110 micron. 4 to 5 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes drying time. So my favorite with this and Vanguard is the 80 micron, where I'm going to spray the room clockwise or counterclockwise. You want to spray as you're moving along, and you just don't want to spray everywhere, because then you're going to cover yourself with a fume of chemistry. And guess what? That chemistry is charged. It's electrostatically charged. You know what that means? You rub on the carpet, and you go to a switch, and then you get that little shock. Remember when you were kids? It happened all the time because there was carpet everywhere. So static will kind of make you discharge yourself if you don't, if you're not careful. So making sure that you're, handling the system properly. You notice I'm wearing one glove and the other end I'm not. This glove is because I'm handling chemical all the time. This guy because I'm the ground. Little tidbits. Operating, my favorite position to get the best wrapping is the way I'm holding it now, right? Because I'm grounding myself, and I'm also allowing my hand to keep position properly. Because when you're doing this, eventually you're gonna get fatigued. You're gonna start releasing that handle. You're gonna lose your ground. You're gonna build static. Holding it properly. And this will allow you to get the best coverage as you're operating the machine. It's the best way, it's the recognized way, it's the safest way. I got the tank. We've gone through, and now I can put the battery back in. Batteries are universal, so backpack, handheld, slide it in, unlock the device, holding the machine, putting my charge on. And this is a new nozzle, so it needs to prime itself, right? So that is also the key that you have to recognize. It needs to prime itself. First time it comes out of the bottle and it's not been pumped, it needs to prime itself. So it could be a few seconds. So what do? I call Mark, no, prime it, and it will start spraying, right? So there's a couple of seconds, especially as winter's coming. It's gonna get colder. Don't leave that in your car. Slush, popsicle, doesn't go in the unit. I'm saying that because it's gonna happen. People leave their sample in their car because they need to rush into the house because babies are crying, the husband is waiting, you know, your dinner's on, I don't know. Make sure to bring this in the house if you're gonna do demos. Make sure that you test them before you leave. So this guy here needs a bit of maintenance. It needs to be looked after. So make sure that these are cleaned weekly. Fusing, different chemistry. Now, some people are using bleach, Unitab. If the Unitab is not emulsifying properly and it's being, used, it may start clogging the inside of your nozzle. You drip them in soap once a week, and if you need to remove buildups of hard water, Blue Light Plus, an organic neutralizer, just a quick rinse, quick clean, because that's the key. If that thing was cracked outside the box, you will get a leak. It'll just leak. That is a cracked nozzle. We have to replace the nozzle. And you know what? They're making 20 to 30,000 units daily. They will be 2 to 4% failure. In electronics, that is the norm. Remember, this is more popular than an iPhone 12 coming out for Christmas. I'm telling you. Everybody wants them. Everybody needs them. We have opportunity to increase and deliver a safety message and a safety tool to apply the chemical in the building. So if this is loose, then it will be coming out in a circle, and sometimes it will just pop it. So there's no problem. You just reinsert it. Many customers are inserting the wrench and they're going clockwise. Not going to happen. It's not going to remove it. As you're pushing harder and harder, you could have, you could change the position in the gasket in the head and then have some leakage. So very important that you press forward. And like I said, I don't get it out every time properly, especially when I'm on camera. There you go. Again, practice makes perfect. So, quarter turn, push, turn. And again, I'm in perfectly, right? So let's check to see, make sure it's in. That's a normal miss. Again, you don't want to be shooting it. Your body's going to track that negative ion, and it's going to just it's going to just wrap around you. So as you're using it, my favorite way again, right? Oh, my glasses are there, so they're going to be not leaking. You want to make sure that you're walking away from the mist. And every time you need to change your 1 liter tank and put new solution, remove the battery. Unlock it. You go and fill your product. You wipe the tank and you wipe the vent, the whole mechanism. You want to make sure that this is always dry. And what I'm giving you is little tips and tricks to increase the performance curve and eliminate some of the challenge you may have with your customer. Because it's all in the instruction manual, but guess what? Nobody reads the instruction manual. They only read what's the price, here's my PO, and then they think everything's going to happen by itself. It is an electronic device. It is something that requires some care and maintenance, like anything we sell. When we're talking about vacuums, auto scrubber, extractors, you know, it is the thing. So, quick overview. We also have extension ones. Right, extension one can be used on this device. We have so many stock now. I have able to get a lot of stock in the training. So, same principle, right? Press it in. You feel it going in, quarter turn, counterclockwise, and I'm in business. Then you put your nozzle in. Again, this is, I would offer the extension one to everybody. We have those in stock. You need 1,000, we can ship 1,000 tomorrow. I'm giving you big numbers for everybody to realize that we have stock for these, for whatever you need. Again, that's my favorite. The extension is my favorite thing to use because it's really now giving you this 20 to 30 inch with another 12 inch of electrostatic solution coming out. And this guy, you can put another 12 inch to have 24. You need to have reach, you can put 3 extensions. So you got 36 inch of extension plus the 20 to 30 inch of mist coming out of the unit naturally. Pretty incredible. So I'll go through the backpack. And it's very similar. The backpack is more, you know, more juice, more square footage, adjustable, easy to use, but really mainly the same features, benefits. It weighs with solution with the Vanguard anyway, about 31 pounds. So it's well built. The strapping is made for people that are carrying a backpack, going hiking. It's easy to operate. It's more friendly, lighter handle. You use the wrench, put it back in. Again, same principle. Force, quarter turn. I hear it clicking because I'm familiar with the noise. But again, you know, right here, you can see that it is snuggle inside. Your bar, this is where you're holding the machine. This is where it's a grounding bar, right? So you become the ground because this is a battery operated. A lot of competitors have electric machine and they're grounded on the floor. They're grounded to the wall, understanding that this is battery. So, you know, the grounding bar here is important. Couple of things. The nozzle needs the care. This guy here, you want to make sure it's plugged in properly, pushed in. The same thing at the unit level, right? So I want to make sure that these are well connected and these are snapped in. This hose here needs to be cared for. You don't want to drop it. You don't want to step on it. Because if you have to replace it, that it's not under warranty, they're fairly expensive. This is an electronic, and it's got a static system built in it. So be careful how you handle a hose, care about your hose. But a lot of troubleshooting for me have come from people not pushing this in properly, and especially at the other end. The nozzle, similar. Did I turn it on? I can't see. I think I did. It's on. 4 lights. 4 lights. And if it's only 3, we have a motherboard challenge. And again, we will replace the green piece under warranty. If you touch this and it starts by itself, it's the motherboard. We will replace the backing under warranty. So very important to identify some of the challenge training, showing people, we're going to create videos. I have one on static that I'm going to be sharing with people in French and English that I did yesterday. I've never had any issues understanding the proper care. So if you go, and I've seen this locally, I have one of the sales guys that kept bringing back to me, and they were using Unitab. It wasn't really dissolving properly. And then one day he went to show me, and he got a good shock. And I said, Jesus, Murphy, I said, your thing is soaked with Unitab dirt and water. I said, when you take this off, first thing you do is you make sure your switch is on, right? Again, from a safety perspective, if you're going to be handling it, I'm going to remove that battery, right? When you go to get it refilled, you just don't take this thing and start refilling with the hose. People do that. People do that all the time. Take it off, unclip your tank, go to your chemical supplier, fill it with the right chemistry, taking the cap off, making sure that the cap's back on, making sure there's no debris going inside here. Microfiber, wipe something. You wipe the tank dry. You can't have the tank dripping with chemistry. Every time you're using a backpack, you should always clean your tank. Before you insert it back in the backpack module, wipe this. Wipe it clean. Make this area dry. So and make sure there's no debris or anything, in that area here. Because that's your valve that connects inside the module. You want to make sure that your tank's clamped properly on. Little things. Now the machine is secured. I can put my batteries back in. Close my door. You know what? People are not going to do all of the things I'm suggesting. But from a health and safety, when you're training people, you got to show them everything. If they choose to take shortcut, that's their responsibility. But as a seller, you're responsible to train them properly, to show them all of the features and benefit, but also those little tidbits that I'm talking about. Cap has to be on properly. So, this guy here, when I started and I put an extension on, this is going to be sending up to 5 feet of electrostatic solution. It's going to go and cover all of those hard surface and eventually emulsify the soil, disinfect, and then as you wipe clean the area, you got a safe area. Remember, it's clean. If there's no residue, nothing will grow on it. The virus needs something, an organic form, to stay alive. If you spray a quatromycide on a clean surface, again, you will kill that virus that could be, on a hard surface. Will these things work on soft surface, carpet, drapes, stuff like that? There's no chemistry, no measurement. But there's nothing wrong about spraying an area, spraying a chair, spraying inside of a car. It has to use the right chemical. So we recommend, something like Unitab, or even depending on the strength. And I prefer quatromycide. Quatromycide is just quat. When you think of quat, think of the the property in toothpaste. When you take a quat, think of the property in algicide that you put in your pool. You go swimming in it after. Well, that's what quatermicide is made of. So, few tidbits: wipe. Make sure that you operate holding your hand like that. The way you hold it is important. The way you operate it, and don't walk in your mist, because then you're charging yourself with humidity and negative particle, and it's not designed for that. It's designed to go out. Do I have to wear a mask? Do I have to wear safety glove? PPEs. Ready-to-use chemistry is safe, but you know what? I'm not wearing a mask right now because we're doing a video. In this building, you would get written up if you're not wearing a mask walking around the building. And if somebody's in your office, everybody has to wear masks. So the mask question that comes up is irrelevant right now. For chemistry, always follow the PPE recommendation on the SDS. Understanding that most SDS are written on concentrated, and then in ready to use, we're talking about a very, very light solution, that won't affect people. So if you're handling chemistry, you're wearing gloves as you're diluting your product. So I always like to operate with one glove on because I'm manipulating chemical all the time, and I'm always using the unit because I'm grounding myself right into the handle. And there's, I'm the direct ground versus the electrical guy that grounds in the wall. But again, thank you very much for joining me and our team in Ottawa. We do appreciate it. And be safe and happy selves. Go out there. Let's go out and look for new opportunity and help people. Thank you very much.